Hello, friends from the manga world. My name is G,
And I'm Hector.
and we're here to talk about the January 2026 new releases for manga. Hector and we've worked for Penguin Random House. The titles that you'll see today are those for with the publishers that we represent. We are on different social media platforms like YouTube and on Instagram, so definitely check us out on those platforms. So I'll link that in the description below. And the way that we do these we do this like continually. So we always start off with our personal picks, and we move on to volume one highlights, and then we'll end the list with continuing volumes that you shouldn't miss for the month of January. So we'll go ahead and get started with our picks. And first up is me. This is after the Disabled God of War became my concubine novel, volume one. I did talk about this before, if you've watched our other videos. So obviously this is something that I'm really excited to see come out. Art is beautiful in this one. So we have this strange thesis that is that hit the desk of this esteemed history professor, and it is dubiously sourced, and it tells the story of General Hua Wujil, a man who was captured and I can't say this word, incapacitated. Sorry, it's this morning. Forced to serve as a concubine for his enemy brother, which sucks. Um, and the cut sleeve prince who enjoyed men in his bed. So for 3 grueling years, we have the general who lived as a prisoner until he escaped and sought vengeance against his tormentors. And this is the thesis that was put on the professor's desk. So convinced that this is pure fiction, the professor brands the thesis as a failure. That is until he wakes up as the cut sleeve prince himself that is told in the story, or in the thesis, I should say. So now stuck lording over his concubine and prisoner, he has only one option to avoid facing the general's wrath. And so perhaps this fictional story that he thought was not real turns out he's living it. So it's a very interesting premise. I love the dynamic that we have here, and I can't wait for it to come out. So yeah, of course, BL.
Yes, very nice. Next, we have Kaijin Fugeki Kindled Spirit 1, and this is by the amazing mangaka creator Oh Great. If that sounds familiar to you, it's because Oh Great has done a lot of very amazing series before. One of them, the biggest one, probably is Bakemonogatari. Bakemonogatari. I always have to like spell it out. Bakemonogatari. Um, and we are in this one. The tagline is combining futuristic science fiction with ancient religion and tradition. This award-winning mangaka, oh great, presents the utterly unique battle for Earth through gorgeous, electrifying art unlike anything we've seen before. And I check out some of the images for this already, and they are very, very beautiful, very cool. And let me tell you a little bit more about what the story really is. It's about a boy named Jin, who lives in this world. He's a Japanese isekai into another world, and he lives in a world that is affected by a mysterious phenomenon known as the night. And one day he meets the soldier, this British soldier called Gao, who escaped from Britain after a night manifested itself. And the plane where he was in, the ship that he was in, crash lands. And in the crash, his mother dies. Jin mothers die. They two then make a friendship. They decide to live together in this rural town, and the story is around the town, the residents dealing with the effects of this effect. It's the night, which from the illustrations and what you see from the illustrations are these sort of huge creatures, almost ghost-like. They they appear in like sort of like a version animal form kind of thing. And that is a great. That's why when you see the art for this, it's so great. I saw a couple of like double pages panels, like whole art across 2 pages, and it was just stunning. I'm really excited about the story of this. I'm really excited about the art of this. I'm really excited because Oh Great is great, and I love Bakemonogatari and some of the other stuff that he has done. So can't wait for this to come out in English so I can finally read it. There you go.
Right, and we have Raven Saga Volume 1, this webtoon unscrolled graphic novel. So this is perfect for fans for fairy tale, Studio Ghibli. It's this gorgeous fantasy graphic novel which was adapted to this hit webtoon comic, as mentioned. So we have this main protagonist named Wen, who lives in a land of fairy tales and has never seen the world outside of her home. So the house where she and her grandmother lives, the place that they reside in, is protected and secluded by a magical barrier. And so Wen has always dreamed of exploring the world outside her bubble. She dreams of seeing the ocean one day, yet her grandmother insists on staying inside their little residence, where the seasons never change. And so a, this peculiar boy with a band of ravens begin to capture magical users across the kingdom, and she must uncover the secrets held within the woods before the world is robbed of its happily ever after. So, one day, a mysterious prince passes out just beyond the barrier, and Wen crosses over to help him, and uh, she goes outside of this protective circle that she's always lived in, and the boy and his flock of ravens descend and abduct her grandmother during that incident. And so, when decides to travel with her newfound friend, Prince Corliss, and his trusted sidekick, which is who is a swallow, and together they go on this quest to save their grandmother. Such an interesting story. This insulated fairy tale, but a character who has to go beyond and journey into the world beyond. So it's a cool concept. Can't wait to read this myself. And yeah, coming out in January.
Great.
Oh, and I should mention coming out both in hardcover and trade paperback.
And Trade for Park. Yes. All right. And next up is A Reincarnated Carrier's Strategy for Another World, Volume 1. Obviously, this is a isekai, and it's my favorite category of manga. So, in this one, you see a man who is transported into another world, but when he gets to choose what class he wants to be, he decides to pick carrier because he doesn't want to. He just wants to have a very peaceful life, so he takes the non-combative, like the least strong, apparently least strong, uh, ca- um, class that he could think of. With this class, he gets these infinite, ability to carry an infinite amount of items. That's why he's a carrier, and he just decides to, hang out in this new world, just not looking for a fight or anything like that. But of course, he meets somebody who changes all that, all his plans. He meets Luna Melia, this pure innocent cleric who is unfit for adventure by herself. So the main character, I should say his name, Say, he can bring himself to leave her behind. So he starts traveling with her, and of course that starts bringing a lot of trouble. And then he starts discovering that Yeah, maybe carrier is not such a weak class after all. Of course, this is your typical isekai of a guy who wants to just hang out, not do a lot of work, and not put himself in danger. But of course, he's first of all finds danger. Second of all, realizes he's ridiculously overpowered at some point, of course. And this is like chilling in another world with level two super cheap powers, or like didn't I say to make my abilities average in the next life? That kind of manga, a story that it's an isekai with the guy. He's like I said, he starts off saying, "Oh, I'm just gonna not get involved in anything," but ends up finding a lot of trouble and saving the world. There we go. And next up,
Next up, we have a Yuri love story that begins with getting dumped in a dream, Volume 1. And it is exactly what the title suggests. We
yeah,
have this main character who always cherished her deep friendship with Hinoka, and never imagining it could evolve into anything more. But she has a vivid dream, and in the dream, it leaves her heartbroken by her friend, Hinoka, with this romantic rejection. And so when she wakes up, she's like, why did I have this dream? So she's forced to confront feelings she never knew that she had. Was this dream just a dream? Was it a warning? Was it a premonition? Is it a sign that she's has feelings and she was blind to it all along? So her mind essentially spirals with all of these questions and doubts, and she begins to miss the subtle signs of Hinoka's own feelings. So caught in this whirlwind of confusion, she must decide, is this the beginning of something beautiful or the end of everything that she has known? So it's friends to lovers, GL romantic manga. So for fans, for of GL, this is definitely something I would pick up, and of course, I am excited to pick it up myself.
next. We got Romelia War Chronicle. The Count's daughter rallies an army in the wake of mankind's victory. This is the manga, Volume One. This is it sees this young, um, I think she is a princess. Yes, a count, daughter of a count. It's on the title. She travels with her fiance on a quest to defeat the Demon King. And when they get there and defeat the king, she is afterwards she's cast off by her fiance, like, you were useless, you don't have any magic, you don't have any strength. And he breaks off the engagement. And also when they return, and the rest, her fiance and an ex-fiance and the rest of the party are hailed as heroes, she is ridiculed for not, being used for being useless, basically. So she goes back to her hometown, and without any kind of, uh, like I said, magic of strength, she dedicates herself to her other skills, which are finances, trade negotiation, gathering information, and she decides to become really strong and try to do the best she can with those skills, to the point where not only she is able to then use those skills to save her family and her finances and her province, but also help the kingdom that was struggling after the demise of the Demon King. So, and on top of that, obviously the Demon King is gone, but also the Demon King's minions are still around. So she also encounters some of that. It's a very cool fantasy world story. I love these stories not only because he has these characters that at the beginning are deemed very weak, and then eventually you see their strength grow, but also I love it because they do a lot of world building, and they use a lot of practical skills, we see a lot of the more of that in manga nowadays. It's like, oh yeah, everybody has magic or strength and skill with the swords, but the guy who or the girl who have all the brains are the ones who are saving the world, which is this is one of those stories. So I love that, and I can't wait to read this one. And continuing.
All right, and we'll start off with volume ones. And first up, we have Betrothed to My Sister's Ex. This is the light novel volume one, but then there's also the manga volume one coming out in January. So, a woman who's lived her life in the shadow of her sister must suddenly take her place after a tragic accident, but her life is about to get way more complicated than that. So, as I mentioned, both the manga and night light novel coming out from Seven Seas, and you don't want to miss the anime adaptation of this one. And then next up, we have Chronicles of an Aristocrat Reborn into Another World, light novel volume one. This is a light novel series that inspired the manga as well as the anime adaptation. It's a story about a modern man who finds himself reincarnated as a young nobleman with powerful magic. And then we have He Craves to Be Teased by His Favorite ASMR Streamer, Volume 1. It is exactly as you imagine it to be, ASMR BL, which, ooh, I don't know how I feel about that, but I will read it. It's bursting with heart-fluttering kinks.
Yes, pretty cool. And continuing the number ones for this month, we have Kitayama and Minamiya, Volume 1, a boys love rom-com about a horny guy who wants to see his coworkers' erotic expression. Then we see Let's Make a Harem in a Zombie World, Volume 1. Not even a zombie apocalypse can slow down a teenager's libido. One teen discovers he may just have the cure to a mysterious outbreak in this fun and sexy survival manga from the creator of The Witches of Adama, also available from Seven Seas, by the way. And then we have Low Tide in Twilight, Volume 1. This was my pick and a couple weeks ago for one of our pick weekly videos. A dark voice love Omegaverse romance about an Omega at his limit and the Alpha who plans on making him repay his debt with his body. The hit webcomic is finally available in English print. And then we have Mechanical Body Universe 1.001, I guess, in this thrilling sequel series to the Mechanical Body universe. Humans and machines unite to protect their chosen families.
All right, and continuing on with volume ones, we have My Former Student is a Hunk. Volume one. One woman learns that when her student makes a promise, he follows through even years later. A steamy rom-com about an English teacher and her grown-up student who is still crushing on her. This is from the artist of Absolute Duo, which is also available from Seven Seas. We have Sanyuri, who it's from this acclaimed author of High Score Girl, Rensuki Oshikiri, who comes a gripping must-have for horror fans. Spine-chilling tale of ghastly sins, grudges that refuses to die, and unholy revenge. And then we also have Twin Jades of Shengdong. This is the novel, Volume 1. Set in the Three Kingdoms era comes a story of childhood friends and the changes in their relationship faces in the midst of war. This is from Fei Tianyi Sheng, author of The Legend of Exorcism, which you can also pick up from us as well.
All right, and that's it for the number
Oh,
ones.
oopsies. This is me. That's it for volume one, as Hector mentioned. So we will exit off the screen, but I do recommend continuing on to take a look at the other volumes that are coming out in January. So definitely check that out. And yeah, we'll leave now, but stay on.
Bye.